all, I'm Karen Morgan, and this is the Purple Bike Podcast. I guess the best place to start the Purple Bike Podcast is when I got the very first purple bike. It was 1975. The number one song in 1975 was Love Will Keep Us Together by The Captain and Tennille. They followed that up the next year by their smash hit Muskrat Love. My favorite song in 1975 was actually Kung Fu Fighting by Carl Douglas, but that only made it to number 14. I think he was robbed because that was an awesome song. So the first purple bike was a Huffy Rail. It had a sparkly banana seat. It had Malibu handlebars, which were the really tall ones. And it also had a big orange flag on the back that kind of waved back and forth on this big long stick. The first purple bike was originally my brother's bike. He either outgrew it or just got tired of me taking it and finally just gave it to me. I'm not sure which. I just remember riding this purple bike down to Eckerd Drugstore to buy candy. That first purple bike was my first set of wheels, my first feeling of freedom to go somewhere on my own, even if it was just to ride down the street to buy Pop Rocks at Eckerd Drugs. In 1975, I was in the 5th grade. Back then, we wore hip-hugger jeans with very wide legs. I remember actually putting rubber bands around the bottom of my jeans so that my jeans wouldn't get stuck in the spokes. I had the remnants of a shag haircut that year, but was actually starting to grow out into more of a 70s girl mullet. 5th grade was the year at our school when all the girls went with the lady teacher to learn about our bodies and to read, "Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret." And all the boys went outside with the gym teacher and they just played kickball on the playground. 2 days before my 11th birthday, the biggest movie of 1975 was released. I went to see Jaws with my neighbor, Margie Hodges, and Margie was 2 years younger than me. Here's what you need to know about going to the movies in 1975. Our parents just dropped us off with money and said, "I'll pick you up in 3 hours." Nobody cared what we saw. Nobody cared really what we did while we were there. They just dropped us off. And I assume now that I'm a parent that they just went home to lay down for 3 hours. So either my mom or Margie's mom, I'm not sure which, dropped me and Margie off, ages 11 and 9, at Beechwood Cinemas to see one of the most terrifying movies of my entire lifetime. In our parents' defense, Jaws was rated PG because back then PG-13 hadn't even been invented yet. So they probably thought it was fine. It's a movie about a shark and a beach, no big deal. But it was terrifying to us. Now, I was actually totally fine in Jaws until the guy's head rolls out of the bottom of the boat while Richard Dreyfuss is scuba diving. I spent the rest of that movie in the seat with Margie Hodges. Not just next to her, in the seat with her, probably mostly on top of her because she was a lot smaller than me, but I was in the seat with her with my index fingers pressed into my eyeballs and my thumbs pressed into my ears so that I didn't hear that music. Then for the rest of the summer, whether we were swimming at the lake or the pool, we were total wrecks, even though we know and knew then that sharks can't come to Athens, Georgia to the swimming pool. It was so terrifying that we thought it could happen. 11 years old, Jaws, still the most terrifying movie of my lifetime. Now, as a true child of the 70s, I would be remiss not to share my insane love for everything that was created by Sid and Marty Krofft. I was a fan. I'm actually going to dedicate an entire episode of this podcast to them soon. But for now, while we're talking about 1975, let's just talk about Land of the Lost. Before Land of the Lost was a movie with Will Ferrell and Danny McBride. It was a TV show that I watched religiously on Saturday mornings. Now, it only lasted 2 seasons, but one of them was 1975. So here's the plot of Land of the Lost. There's a dad whose name is Rick Marshall, and he has two kids. Their names are Will and Holly, and they're on a routine expedition, whatever that means, but it just sounded like a single parent camping trip to me. And there was a giant earthquake while they're on a rafting trip, and their raft plummets 1,000 feet down a waterfall through a time portal. Rick Marshall, Will, and Holly end up in the time of the dinosaurs. Oh, but there's more than just dinosaurs. There's also some monkey people, and they make friends with one whose name is Chaka. And there are also giant green alien lizard insect people called Sleestaks, who are bad. And there's a dude whose name is Enoch, who kind of looks like a Sleestak, but he's yellow and not green, and he wears clothes and they don't. He has magic crystals that he also somehow came through a time portal. I'm not really sure. And then there's an alien named Zarn, and Zarn is made of lights and goes bwah, bwah, a whole lot. And so that's what's going on in Land of the Lost. Sid and Marty Krofft deny they did any drugs to create any of these shows. I'm just putting that in there. Now, the majority of the show is just Marshall, Will, and Holly trying to figure out how to get home. They're always running from things, like usually the dinosaurs. And the dinosaurs were all claymation or like hand puppets, so they weren't truly scary like Jurassic Park. But they run, like, hurry, run, run. And then they sit down for some reason in the sand and say, wow, that was close. He almost got us. And then there were the Sleestaks, though. They were scary. They were actually really real people inside costumes, not claymation people. And some of these Sleestaks, I learned later, went on to become NBA players. So they were super tall. Now, the dad, the actor who played the dad, got replaced at some point because he was upset that the cast wasn't getting any of the profits from merchandising, like the Land of the Lost lunch boxes that had their pictures on them and everything. And I think I actually had one. The dad gets replaced by his brother, Jack. So Rick disappears, and the storyline was that he accidentally got sent back home in the time portal at the exact same moment that his brother, Jack, appears trying to find him and the kids. And, I guess, sure, why not? We already have lizard people, so why not this storyline too? I always wondered where the mom was in all this and why she wasn't on the camping trip. You learn in like episode 11 that she actually died, and so he's a single dad. And this makes much more sense to me now, because if she was actually alive, she never would have let the dad take the kids on this stupid trip to begin with. It wouldn't have happened. Land of the Lost was just one of the wacky things that went on in 1975 at my house. 1975 was truly a more simple time for all of us. When your biggest problem is that your wide leg jeans get stuck inside your bike chain, that's a pretty good time to be a kid. We had killer shark movies, we had Sid and Marty Krofft, and everybody was kung fu fighting. I hope you'll join me next time when we talk about 1976, the year of America's bicentennial, and my worst school photo of all time. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for listening.